Let's review how latitude and longitude work. The Earth is an oblate. It's not really a sphere. It's more of a sphere that looks like someone sat on it. It's a bit wider on the horizontal axis than it is on the vertical axis. And then, thanks to the efforts of Greeks like Ptolemy, we've divided all circles into 360 degrees. Now, within each degree are 60 minutes, and within each minute are 60 seconds. That means if we talk about half a degree, we're talking about 30 minutes. If we're talking about a quarter of a minute, we're talking about 15 seconds. Don't confuse these seconds with time seconds. These are really distance seconds. We can divide the Earth into hemispheres for the purposes of creating a grid pattern like that used for latitude and longitude. If we divide the Earth along a horizontal division line, we create a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. The line that divides them is called the equator. If we divide the Earth along a vertical division, creating an east and a west hemisphere, the 0 point that divides them is called the prime meridian on one side as it runs through England, and on the other side of the world, 180 degrees later, it is called the international date line. These 0 points make up the baseline for our horizontal and our vertical axis that we use in latitude and longitude. Within latitude, we have lines that run east and west. These east and west running lines are called parallels, and anywhere along that line we're going to use the same number to name it. The equator acts as the dividing line, so all parallels, or latitude lines, are written as north or south of the equator. You would never write a latitude as east or west. Since east or west, it's still the same line. Now the poles also act as a terminus for our latitudinal lines. That means that we are only describing about a quarter of a circle when we use our latitude lines. Therefore, latitude lines will never exceed 90 degrees. Sometimes people have a hard time remembering the difference between latitude and longitude. Remember that latitude is similar to a ladder, and you climb up the rungs, the horizontal rungs of a ladder, and you climb up the horizontal rungs of latitude. With longitude, these lines run north and south. The prime meridian is again that dividing line. It's also sometimes called the Greenwich meridian since it runs through Greenwich, England. And all lines are going to be designated as east or west of this line. At 180 degrees, as we discussed previously, is the international date line. So all lines of longitude are going to run between 0, which is the prime meridian, and 180 degrees. They'll never exceed 180 degrees. You'll also note that longitude lines are not parallel. They all meet at the poles. Therefore, the distance that is covered between the degrees really does vary according to their proximity to the pole. Now, let's work on finding latitude and longitude on a map. Here we have a map with a number of different points. Let's work on finding point A. We always list the horizontal number first. So if we look at our map and we see the 20-degree designation, our A is lined up right along that 20-degree designation. It is 20 degrees below the equator. Remember, this is latitude. Therefore, the A is at 20 degrees south latitude. Now let's find the longitude. If we follow our longitude line up all the way to our numbers at the top of the map, you will note that we are at 100 degrees of longitude. However, there's two 100 degrees of longitude noted on this map. There's one here. There's another here. We have to make sure we always include our cardinal directions here so we know which one we're talking about. This particular line lies east of the prime meridian, which runs right here. Therefore, it is at 20 degrees south latitude and 100 degrees east longitude. And there you have it. That's it. That's how we find latitude and longitude. One last thing to note. Even without our guide numbers at the top and the side of our map, we could easily determine the latitude or longitude of each line. Here's how it works. Here with longitude, we simply have to count up the number of lines between the 0 point, here, which is the prime meridian, and the edge of our map, out here. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 lines of longitude between our 0 point and the edge of our map. Since we know we're covering 180 degrees over half of the map, we know that we simply have to divide those 180 degrees up in 9 places. What we end up with then is 20. That means each line of longitude is 20 degrees apart. Therefore, indeed, just like we have on our map, we're going to see them repeated 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, and 180. Now the same principle would apply if we were talking about our lines of latitude. And that's it. You don't even have to have them noted for you. We've given you a brief overview of how to determine latitude and longitude, so I think this means you should be able to go out and just navigate the whole world, shouldn't you?